What's going on, people of the internet? My name is Kylie and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, December 19th. I did want to film a video on everything that I've learned so far regarding hydroponics. So I've been growing for about a year now, and a few things that I've learned along the way. One being the fact that you absolutely need an EC meter and a pH meter. Absolutely. So I have these two here. I have them linked to my Amazon shop, and prior to actually having these, I'd have root rot and not really know what was going on. Usually when root rot is caused, it's due to either an overabundance of nutrients or the water could be too hot. These help me out and don't have me second guessing. A pH water tester makes sure that my water stays within that ideal range, which is between, I like 5.5 and 6.5. Every plant is different, but I feel like that's a sweet spot. And then also regarding like your nutrients, before, the first thing that I did when I started hydroponics is I just simply bought one of those systems that you buy. I think my first one was my Rain Point, and I still use it to this day. I have so many different systems. I've got a Rain Point, an In Bloom, a Let Pot, various Aero Gardens, as you can see behind me. I've got Harvest Elites. I've got Bounty Elites. I am obsessed with Aero Gardens. Over the course of a year, I've learned that even though I do love these systems and they're great and all, my favorite way of growing is actually in a 5-gallon bucket. Now, I haven't grown it in different containers because you can obviously grow in different container sizes. You don't necessarily need to stick to systems. You can grow in anything. And I was trying the kratky method as well. That's fun just to like kind of try it out, but I wouldn't really recommend it if you are someone that isn't very consistent with staying on top of like water changes and things. That is definitely not something that is for everyone. But it is great to know about the different sectors of hydroponics. So you have kratky, which is a non-circulating form of growing, which, like I said, it's fun, but I like incorporating oxygen into the plants. So I like using an air pump. These 3 buckets that you see back here, they really are just food grade buckets that I added a lid to, which is a net pot lid, and then I added your regular aquarium air pump. So that's basically all you need, is to incorporate some oxygen in there, and I do love that way of growing. There are other forms of growing hydroponically, like ebb and flow. That's another way that in the future I would hope that I can try as I'm moving forward with this. But so far I only have systems. I'm not doing kratky anymore. And I mostly have systems in DWC, which is deep water culture. So that's what I was talking about with the buckets and whatnot. So I have Mars Hydro buckets, and then I have some DIY buckets. I love doing things myself. If it wasn't for realizing the differences in growing hydroponically, I did realize, oh hey, the nutrients that come in these little systems, I could expand on that. There are other various actually fertilizers that you could be using, liquid fertilizers, and also depending on what stage your plant is currently growing at as well. So with those little kits that you get, you only get like A and B, and you have to mix it together, and you add like the certain amount of liquid plant food that it requires. And then also the machine will notify you I think it's every 2 weeks or so, when to actually feed the plant. I don't go by that anymore, actually. Even when my systems tell me I need to feed my plant, the first thing that I do is I actually check with my EC meter, do I actually need to? Is there enough nutrients in this water? It's much more accurate this way, instead of just relying on your system telling you when to actually feed your plant. I want to know exactly how much nutrients is in my water. Definitely get yourself an EC meter to read your nutrients, and also a pH tester just to make sure your water is not too acidic. Sometimes your water can be funky, and that could also cause the plant to suffer. I learned that I love these DWC buckets, and honestly it costs about less than I paid for one of my Aero Garden Bounty Elites. It depends on what kind of person you are. Do you have the space to have so many 5-gallon buckets in your house? Who knows? Maybe you can only afford the space of having a little countertop system. You know, it really all depends on how you're growing. And then also, when I was buying seeds, I was purchasing from Amazon. I did realize over the course of my growing, it is better to buy from seed companies. You get more variety. And I just want to support seed companies. I'm trying to purchase on actual websites. So like Johnny's Seeds, there's In My Gardener, Renee's Garden, There's so many seed companies, you guys. Going back to the nutrients. So initially, when you are starting off with those nutrients in those little system boxes, it is very simple. So there's complex nutrients where, depending on whatever stage you're at in the growing process, whether it's germination all the way to maturity, you're going to be using different amounts of nutrients. So at one point, I was using the Flora Grow series from General Hydroponics. That's great, but that also does require a lot of different mixing. Currently, right now, what I'm using so far is I'm starting off with my Cow Mag, and then I love my Fox Farms Grow Big. And then once I'm done with that, I added my HydroGuard. And then once all the nutrients and things are mixed, then I will adjust my pH from there. It's been a lot of learning and a lot of trial and errors. Right now, what I'm focusing on is, now that I've harnessed the method that I like, which is growing in 5-gallon buckets, I am just trying to grow different varieties of things as of now. So when I initially started, I was growing everything and anything. I was not thinning out my plants in the pods. I had dirt incorporated in the beginning, which I quickly found that I did not like. I do love traditional gardening outside, but not indoor. So that I learned. And then also I learned over time what I need in the garden, what I don't need in the garden. I had an overabundance of peppers like my first round of gardening, and that was so unnecessary. And then also I'm getting more into drying my herbs. So I now have this drying rack here. We're drying herbs. We're getting into growing medicinal herbs so that I can start making teas and tinctures. So that is the future. I just want to keep moving forward with expanding this garden. And I just want to share what I've learned with you guys and my failures with you guys, because I feel like that's very important too. Like my whole thrip issue, that I feel like I'm handling it pretty well. There's a few here and there, but I think that's what's so exciting about gardening and just indoor gardening and just doing something that you absolutely love. Like, this is a hobby for me, and I don't necessarily grow these plants to save money. Like, regardless of how much money it does cost, it's making me happy. So I enjoy it. I'm not going to stop doing it. And sometimes you just want to do something just out of pure enjoyment and happiness. And honestly, this makes me so happy. And then also sharing it with you guys. So thank you so much for following along and ingesting my content. I hope you enjoy it. And if you ever have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And anything that I use in my garden, everything I have pretty much linked in my Amazon shop. So you can go to kyliegrows.com/links, and you will find everything that I have basically in this garden. If not, I mean, feel free to comment down below and I'll send you a link, but everything should be there. But yeah, I got this really cute shirt from ASOS. I want to show you guys. Isn't it so cute? It's from Wild Fox. I just thought it was super cute, and I should get to feeding these puppies because I'm getting growled at. Okay, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be seeing you until next time.